Yes, guys, welcome back to BRS. Today, we got a good one. We're going to be talking to you guys about which is the most difficult exercise to train or coach for clients. So me and Adam have chosen our own individual ones, and we'll be sharing those ones with you. Which was the lower half movement or lower body movement. Adam has chosen an upper body movement. Okay. For myself, in my own experience, it's gotta be the deadlift. Any hinge motion. It's a multi-joint, multi-muscle movement, aka a compound movement, meaning that it's going to be involving a lot of things happening at the same time. The more things that are happening at one time, it's just a simple numbers game for me. The more opportunity for failure or lack of skill. So that's why one of the things that we speak on a lot, even into coaching clients and stuff like that, is to when we're dealing with the frustration of not getting things, of dealing with the pain. Sometimes people have been dealing with pain for 10 years, 10 plus years, or dealing with this stuff, it's not easy. So one of the things that we say a lot is we're trying to improve the skill of this movement rather than looking at it as just an exercise. It's a skill that we're trying to improve on a day-to-day basis, on a week-to-week, month-to-month basis. And down the list just from the pelvic, the hip stability, the foot positioning, the position of the knees, what muscles we're engaging from our lats. Also,
It's a feared movement.
it's very much also something that elicits that threat response just because we're not exposing that mode, right? So that's for sure where I understand.
Do you have any specific cues that you would use?
Specific cues that I go into, bending the bar against your shin, splitting the bar between the middle of your foot.
Position of the bar.
Yes,
In the midfoot.
in the middle and midfoot. It's thinking about barbell deadlift, not a dumbbell variation. Also getting them to feel what it's like to engage their lats in another exercise, like accessory movement before we get in the bar. Having them understand what is bracing their core, right? So actually getting them to feel underneath their ribs, to feel their diaphragm, and then seeing if they can push those fingers away using their abdominal muscle, taking it from the view of just like frontal plane of just the first wall, the abdominal wall, and thinking about it in a 360 perspective and how that coincides with your lower back.
I always have to teach the hinge first. I think that is always key. I think in my mind, it's a progression. It's like, okay, first of all, understanding how to hinge and dissociate certain areas of the body, right? I think that's a really important skill. But then also knowing the series of process of tensioning the posterior chain to stabilize the spine. So yeah, everything you said is really, really important.
City should do that. So this guy's good. Speaking of posterior,
Yeah, so for the upper body, the hardest one for me to teach, often, I'm in a clinical setting, so people come to me not just for fitness gains, right? They don't really have fitness goals. They usually have pain. And often what I have to teach people is to get their shoulder blades, their scapulae mobile, right? So be able to really retract the shoulder blade. So the one that I have difficulty teaching is the row, right? It could be any type of row, standing, seated row, whatever. But my cues are break it down into 2 gears, okay? So you have the first gear being scapular retraction, maintaining the elbows in an extended position, so not bending the elbow.
and this is whether it's in a hinge or seated.
In a hinge, that's just throwing more high heat.
Yeah,
right? So that's
another thing to be considered.
Exactly. So retracting the scapulae, using those muscles, the rhomboids at the back to squeeze, and then initiating gear 2, which is bending the elbow and the action pull-in motion.
So would you say that it's it's easier to teach in the seated position than maybe progressing to the barbell row where you're now incorporating a hinge. So two different, when you talk about internal disassociating different joints.
I would honestly do it standing just because it's the most functional thing, and people have to pull things in everyday life in a standing position. Sometimes I teach it in a staggered stance as well, because that way you can even shift your body weight back as you pull and row.
Right. The ability of us to be.
Yeah.
So those were our top our top individual toughest exercises to coach to clients. Please let us know down in the comments below. We do go more in depth on our podcast at BRS or Beyond Reps and Sets everywhere. If you're a coach watching this, when it's your toughest exercise that you feel like you experience coaching with, and if you're a person out there just day-to-day working out, which one do you maybe shy away from the most? Is it a deadlift? This is a barbell row, and this other row? Let us know. Moving into segment number 2, stay tuned or click through to the next video to watch our video on barefoot training. We break down the pros and cons. If it's the right worth all the hype.